Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 91 of A Fern Between Us.
I'm wasted.
Oh, damn it. And I'm Michelle. We're going to just refer to him by his new name for the rest of the night. All right. Welcome to the show. It is just before Christmas. Hopefully everybody's having a good time, getting ready, hanging out with family. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's bad.
We hung out with family today.
Yay!
Part of why we're tipsy.
Some of us are wasted, evidently, and some of us are not. I drink water. All right, so...
I don't believe it.
You watched me drink water.
Oh, yeah, the water.
So, a little check-in since last week. You got to go to Utah.
I did.
Was cool.
Right. Couple half days skiing, hung out with a buddy who had to get surgery, drove him home from the hospital. I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah.
And hadn't been to Utah.
I've never...
Not Salt Lake anyway.
Yeah, I've never been flown somewhere to be the drive home. That's pretty sweet.
That was awesome, right?
So if any of you out there want to fly me somewhere really cool and I'll drive you home from the hospital,
yeah.
Evidently we're open for taxi service.
That's good.
Awesome. Yeah, and that left me alone here in charge of the winery because Chris and Lily left and they are now in Mexico visiting her family.
Right.
So you haven't been down to the winery yet, but it's pretty much empty. I drank all of it.
You drank all the wine?
Yes.
Oh man.
I just laid under a tank and opened the nozzle and
that's not going to be good. Our partners are going to be really bummed about this.
Right?
I think so.
Nobody said anything about everybody's gone and Michelle's in charge. All right.
So what do you got? What's our story today?
Let's start out with tasting the Diablo. Woo, yummy. It's one of the two blends that you make, like serious blends.
Yeah.
Tell us about why you make the Divino and Diablo at this point. I mean, we used to have them as the artist series, and now they're graphics. Why do you continue to make these two blends?
I don't know. Chris and I like making kind of more of a Bordeaux blend, and then using our imaginations to come up with a good white blend or a lighter bodied red blend. I don't know. Divino has always been one of my very, very favorites. Diablo is kind of our crown jewel or whatever you want to call him. I don't know, the king. I don't know.
I like that.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just kind of fun to not be limited by the 75% rules of dealing with just
a Cabernet.
Yeah.
Varietal
exactly.
release.
Varietal release.
That's a really...
Couldn't come up with the words.
And it's wasted.
Yes, Nuevo Mexico. No.
Nice. Well, and so this is, the blend does change every year, which is really interesting. And like you said, that has to be fun. And this is 40% Tempranillo, 40% Aglianico, and 20% Cab. That's a really unique blend.
It is. I bet nobody's ever had that blend before.
Right?
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I can taste all those in there. I like it. I don't know. What do you think?
I really like it too, especially this vintage, actually. I really feel like it, like you said, you can actually pick out those varietals.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That
and for sure the Aglianico.
Right? And that just reminded me, we had a group of women writers come and visit us, and I hosted a tasting for them, a private tasting.
Yeah. And
this was one of the wines, and they wanted to debate what the blend was, and there was a woman that said it's Tempranillo, and then there were a bunch of other people that said no, I'm not getting Tempranillo, and she was like, yes, it is. It's classic Tempranillo, and then something Italian and maybe some Cab, and I was so impressed.
She got it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that was super cool to have somebody be able to identify it. But it did start a conversation about what does Tempranillo really taste like and look like.
Yeah.
And I think that is an interesting debate because do you mark it as the old world Tempranillo or the new world Tempranillo?
And Tempranillo, I can't claim old world. We are aging in French oak, which is different than Spain, Spain is the old world. But they're aging in new oak, so that maybe they're more of a new world style wine, and we're more of a crossover.
That's
style,
crazy, right?
Like we're both crossovers, but in different ways. I don't know. And our Tempranillo, I feel like is one of our, I don't know, fruitier wines, or most acceptable to the American palate kind of wines, or something like that.
That's interesting.
So, is it our most new world wine? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, that's an interesting way to see it. Yeah. I really like it. I think it goes with so many different foods. I actually really enjoy drinking it on its own as well when I want a bigger, bolder wine. And
which the Diavolo or Tempranillo? Are you still
Diavolo?
On? Okay, yeah.
Sorry, the Diavolo is one that I really like. It's cold outside, and I just kind of want to be cozy.
Baby, it's cold outside. A little more rape. No,
whoa!
Isn't that what the song says, basically?
Well, you're not supposed to cheerfully be participating in that.
Of course not.
All right.
Not a joke. Not a joke.
Not funny. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so luxury wines. Holidays,
cool.
Right?
So this is our highest price wine.
Yeah.
So you're saying high price wines for the holidays.
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Yeah, like what?
Right. Last week we did saving on wines.
Exactly.
How to do?
How do you navigate?
Feed a crowd on a budget or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and how do you navigate a luxury wine, and which one's the right one? Aside from our wine, which is obviously the best choice. Hello. But if you were, if you're going to pick out something for a gift, or as a crown jewel, as you mentioned, for a meal, how would you pick a luxury brand?
I go on my personal favorites every time. Every time. If I'm gonna pick it out and I'm paying for it, I go with my favorite.
So what about trying something new? How would you?
Yeah, well, I mean, within that genre, I'm picking something that I'm gonna like the most, but to suit my taste.
Right.
Not really even considering the other people as much.
That says so much about you.
They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it, and then I'll be happy about it too. No, I'm gonna love all those. I love to taste everyone's favorites, but I'm not gonna pick out your favorite as well as you are. So why don't you pick your favorite? I'll pick my favorite.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of interesting things going on that I see. A lot of articles about tell your guests what you're serving, and then they can try to pair with it.
Yeah.
But that's tricky. That puts a lot of pressure on a lot of people.
Right.
And sometimes they just want to bring a nice bottle of wine. Maybe it's a gift for you. Maybe they want to open at the table, but
they don't want to have to do the research for years on, weeks
on
end. What are you serving, or what are the sauces with that? And
yeah, right.
Right.
And I do like to try new wineries, and but it is based on, for me, one of my favorites is Cabernet Franc, and so I would try from the Loire Valley, which is a kind of austere, interesting wine, and it's not for everybody, but I know that I like wines from that region.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think that's what you're kind of saying. You can try new things if you like Pinot Noirs from Oregon.
I pick out exactly. And I'll pick out my budget first. Mm-hmm. I want to spend $50, or I want to spend $80. No, hopefully not. Or I want to spend $150, or whatever the case may be. And then in that genre, what are my options, sort of, and then pick out my favorite from there, kind of deal,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think that's really good. Yeah, really good advice. And I do think that this is a good time of year, if you do have a handful of favorite wineries, to look into their special releases, library releases, their upper end stuff that normally you might not, purchase. But I think that's a really good call too, to look at what they're doing. I always love Domaine Carneros does a special release around the holidays.
Yep.
And then, got to get your hands on that. Then you buy one for yourself and one for somebody else.
And one for the party.
So you keep doing that, right?
Then you have something at some point during the rest of the year. Yeah, maybe. Exactly.
Or, later that night, because you only got to have like this much because there were 16 people and everybody got like a taste. Right?
Totally.
That's
totally.
Hard. All right. Well, so last week we mentioned, we were talking about parties and crowds and how to get wine on the table for everybody.
Yeah.
And this week we mentioned that we wanted to do if you're solo for the holidays and how do you go about that? So I enlisted the help of our fabulous celebrity chef Johnny V, who is incredible. He teaches classes at the Santa Fe Las Cosas kitchen shop, which is a super cool shop. But then he teaches classes in it, which is really cool. Great gift idea. Yeah. And we've taken his classes. He comes out and he cooks at our picking parties. He's written a great cookbook.
You were going to say picks at our cooking parties, huh?
Your wasted is rubbing off on me. and he's just an all-around great guy. I keep doing amazing private events where the two of us go in and do a really cool a setup with wines, and he's cooking. I teach about the wines and wine in general. It's just a cool kind of event and friendship that we've had for so many years now. Anyway, so I asked him to answer these questions that we had. So the first question was, how do I make dinner for one without complicated math to tweak a recipe, right? So that's one of the things that I think is hard is, this recipe requires 3/4 of a cup, but it's
you have
for
to divide
6.
that into or 4 or
and I'm just cooking for myself. I'm like, I don't know. I've had 2 glasses of wine. I can't. What is that?
Right.
Like,
if you're halving a recipe, that's one thing. But if you're even then though, 3/4 of a cup in half, it's like, well, I don't have a 3/8 cup. You know what I mean?
That conversion is tricky, and then you feel like you're going to screw up the whole recipe.
And then if you're baking it all, or if that exact amount is kind of,
key.
means something for sure, then you're kind of up the creek because you can't get it exact. Yeah,
which makes it really hard.
Yeah.
And then so you follow a recipe and you're by yourself, but now you have a meal for 6 people.
So what did he say?
So done. Oh, yeah. So he said, look for recipes that are easy to convert. Like, specifically seek those out so that, like chicken scallopini, you can buy a single chicken breast.
Right.
And then he said, you make a sexy sauce. I love that. Of course he said, make a sexy sauce.
Yeah.
And so
it's all about sexy sauce.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. Like, of course, you pick specifically.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, you like thumbed through the joy of cooking and picked something really complicated.
You get a frozen pizza, you cut it in half, put the half in the oven, you still have half for later. No.
Exactly. Perfect. Hungry man dinner. It comes totally complete. So the next question is, if you want multiple courses but are a single person, how do you shop for all the ingredients without getting way too much? So he said, air fryers.
We don't know, he says.
Yeah.
He's just going to say, I'm like, I don't know.
Again, hungry man is all the ingredients. I don't know, pot pies? You can see why we have fuller faces. But he recommends getting air fryers. He said he loves an air fryer. And man, I keep hearing about them. And
I've never used one. I don't even know what it is.
I think we need to look into this because clearly this is the rage. And to have a celebrity chef say that this is actually what you need.
Right.
Now I might have to buy one. Santa? So he said the air fryer is perfect because you can easily put a potato, a pork chop, a handful of Brussels sprouts. Skip that part.
I like Brussels sprouts.
Together. Ugh. I read an article that they are actually tasting better than years ago because they've changed over time.
Smart.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The Brussels sprout company is Monsanto the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, I was like, their DNA structure is different. So that's really interesting. I like the idea of a gadget, this air fryer, where you put all the things in and it cooks the entire meal.
Whoa.
And it's single serving. That's cool. And then he also said, obviously pasta. Pasta is so easy to do as single serving and keep things like shrimp that have been pre-cooked in your freezer, and then you can just grab a few and saute them up, throw them in your pasta, and it's an elegant pasta dish.
Whoa.
Super easy.
Whoa, all right, cool.
I know. Oh.
Whenever you pack up the old hoopty and head west, I'll I guess I'll know how to provide for myself.
Right? Well, I was also thinking, we love popcorn sometimes as dinner, and those single
We've been known
serving,
to do it, of
course. Those microwave popcorn bags, and then you add some things on top of it, and like cheese. Now it's got protein, right? It's healthy.
Healthy, downright healthy.
Yeah. And the next question is, what takes a regular meal, everyday meal, and elevates it to feel special, right? Like, you have your favorites, you know how to cook your favorites.
Uh-huh.
For me, if I'm by myself, it's really hard to want to put the extra effort in. But, how do I make something I regularly cook a little bit more special?
It's usually like 2 ingredients, To me, you just add like nachos. I don't know. Turning them from just like cheese and some jalapenos on the plate into like something special makes it's like add some beans of different kinds or some lettuce and tomato on the top, or all of a sudden you got like something more fancy. Obviously nachos aren't like the elegant meal that we're looking for, but that's just an example. It's just an example.
Luxury wines and really shitty food.
It's like popcorn, like put some like caramel and peanuts in there. Oh, fancy now.
You were supposed to come up with a nice thing that you made.
So normally you're just making this nice pepper steak, but if you had like bigger grain pepper on there.
Oh, yum. Now we're in for it.
Not just the powder shit that you get in the fucking little thing,
Nice.
How fancy you want me to get? Let's see. Lobster, instead of like just regular salt, you go like Himalayan, where you do it with your hand.
Oh, you do it with your hand? You do it with your hand a lot?
Oh, no.
All right. One of my favorite things to do that I think is really easy and makes a meal special is to start out with a steamed artichoke. I don't do them all the time. It takes a while, but it's super easy. You cut the tops off of the leaves and put it in a steamer. You kind of break it open. I don't know if I understand a lot of people are not sure how to steam an artichoke. Ooh. So just doing a once over.
Do they not have the pot with the steamer part on top?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is maybe you need a vegetable steamer that you sit in the top of the pot so that it's got the hot water, and the important part is putting herbs in that water. So a bay leaf,
huge
mint,
difference.
Rosemary, anise is one of my favorites. No, lemon goes in the top.
Lemon goes in the
and top. Then you put the basket in, put the artichoke on top. And because you've pulled it open, you then squeeze the lemon there and then leave it in the basket with the artichoke. And it's got so much flavor and aromas, and it's just really delicious.
Yeah.
But it's adding another course to your meal that you maybe have all the time, but
Gotcha.
It changes a little.
That is. It's a whole nother course. It is.
Yeah.
You open with that. Everyone
Yeah.
gets their own artichoke or half an artichoke or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think, if you regularly make chicken scallopini, make the sauce just a little bit different. I also really think that cooking with wine, a lot of people don't do that because, well, you want to drink all the wine. But if you consider doing that, it changes the flavor profile, just a tweak. And I feel like that makes a big difference. Anyway, he says to elevate the meal, you start with a nice cocktail. That's also, just put in a little extra effort.
As we were saying earlier, some self-love.
Yeah, woo yourself, and then you don't even need dinner. And then he also goes on to say, and then have a delicious bottle of Vivac wine with your meal. Very nice, Johnny. I love that. Gotta love that.
If you're only shopping for one, I mean, $10 makes a huge difference. Buy a slightly nicer bottle. All of a sudden, you've got something out of the ordinary, which can be amazing.
Absolutely. And, I also I find that I am often in my pajamas anyway, because, since the pandemic, that's just how I roll. But I also find just doing a little bit to...
Put on the Spanx and then you're...
Dress a little nicer,
Instead of in your pajamas, do it in your lingerie. So fancy now.
It's so fancy.
Classy girls do this.
While you cook, have like a rose in your mouth.
In case the mailman comes to the door, I don't know.
The mailman. Oh no. Anyway.
Today's version of milkman. No, wait.
They had a mailman back then too.
They did, yeah, and we don't anymore either. Hardly. All right. So
we have the Amazon truck driver.
It's the UPS driver who comes to the door. You'll already be robed or disrobed, however you see it, with the rose. I don't know.
Yeah.
So fancy.
But just put in a little bit extra effort. I think makes a big difference. At least I feel that.
Right.
Okay, I'm creating something. He also wanted to make the point that a lot of people think that chefs do these, elaborate meals for themselves.
No.
And he said that he has been known many a time to be standing at the counter eating a rotisserie chicken and drinking wine. And he says that makes for a fantastic night. So there's also that. Yes, it is the holidays, and if you're on your own, you might want to do something a little more extravagant, but also maybe you just want to really revel in the fact that you are solo and can make all your own choices, and you can drink the expensive champagne in the morning and then another bottle of expensive something and lay on the floor to take a nap. Nobody can say anything about it because you get to do your own party.
And just enjoy what you're doing. Whatever you decide, enjoy it.
Yeah, right? Just enjoy.
Take the moment to say, hey, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this chicken with wine at my counter.
Yeah,
Or
I loved
whatever.
that. I loved that answer. And, just trying to maybe reevaluate how you think about being on your own.
Yep.
Yep. And and try to celebrate you. And maybe that looks like a gift to yourself. Maybe that looks like renting a cool movie. There's a bunch of cool movies that you can rent right now on Amazon. I'm like, Isn't there another friend that you want to go see so I can rent some of the stupid stuff that I want to watch?
Right?
The holiday rom-coms. I did make Denali watch several of those while you were gone. Yeah, there was.
And she made you watch all the really bad horrors.
Yes, yeah. It was taking turns, but there was a lot of moans. Is this actually any good? I'm like, well, no. But it's fun.
That's funny.
All right, so we're going to wrap up. We're trying to keep this short, so enjoy your holiday. And next week we're going to be in LA.
So no Fern?
I don't know. Our hosts may be in on whether or not they think that will be fun, or if we have already drank too much and definitely can't get on camera. So
my guess is the latter, because it's the time constraints. By 4 p.m., I doubt we'll be standing condition. Unless we want to... we could do it like the NFL footballers, the post-game recap kind of deal, where they're all standing around and make them be on it,
Oh!
Yeah, Jules and Tim, if you make us do this at your place, you're in it. You know this, right?
Nice. Yes. I'm thinking this is a good idea. All of a sudden. Anyway, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We will keep you posted whether or not we're going to be able to pull this out of our ass and do that next week. Otherwise, it's going to be the new year. We hope everybody's going to have a phenomenal closing to this year and start the next year off really happy and bright, right?
Heck
2023. Yeah. 2023 marks the beginning in January of our 20-year anniversary of our tasting room opening. Woo!
Yeah. So this will be the year of 20 years. And 25 since we first made our mission statement back in 1998. What? That's insanity. It's insanity to me. I'm that old, I guess.
So old. So old.
We're going to look at this in 10 years and be like, yeah.
Oh, no, you're not.
Don't you wish you were only 25 years in business?
Man, 20 years went by in a flash.
Right?
I do have to say that.
It really has.
I do have to say, I think since the beginning you've been making sensational wines. You and Chris have really focused on quality over quantity since the beginning, which is also why
I've always been partial to quantity, though.
I was going to say, which is why we're always sold out of some of your favorites. But it just has gotten better, and I'm so proud of you. I love you, baby.
I'm proud of you, baby. I love you. And thank you guys.
Yeah.
We're proud of you, or we love you.
Yeah, keeping us going, tuning in, sharing this.
Y'all are the reason we can do this, so this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Buy a bottle, we plant a tree.
And Merry Christmas. Or Happy Holidays. Or Season's Greetings. Or Hanukkah. Kwanzaa. Are we still on? You're supposed to press the button. It's going to fade out to me listing all the holidays.
Evidently he just wants to be cut off, or he's just going to keep going.